All right, so what we're working with today is calculating percent values. So the first thing we need to know is we need to, whenever we calculate a percent, a lot of calculators do not have the percent key, and so you have to know how to turn it into a decimal. And then the other thing is we have to figure out what the word of means to do. And then the last step we're going to be doing is we're going to be finding percent change of things. So when finding a percent value, you look for the word of, and the word of just means multiply. Before multiplying, though, you have to change your percent to a decimal. So let's just remember how to do some of those. If I have 5%, remember that is 0.05. If I have 21%, that is 0.21. If I have 132%, that's 1.32. If I have 40%, that is 0.40. So if you notice, for each of them, in color, there's two numbers that come after the decimal. And so since there wasn't a number there, I put the number there for the 5. Okay? All right, so when it says 72%, 72% is just 0.72 times 140. So I go ahead and plug that in my calculator, and I get 100.8. 5%, again, 5%, there has to be two numbers, so it's 5 cents, 0.05 times 84. Don't write an X for times. We're getting into algebra and you shouldn't do that. So 0.05 times 84 is 4.2. And then 134% is 1.34 times 52. So 1.34 times 52 is 69.68. So the first thing you do again is change it to a decimal and then you multiply. Okay, so what I'd like you to do now is try these 4 problems, and then when you think you have them, press play so you can check your work. All right, so 50% is 0.50 times 75. Another way to write times is put it in parentheses. And so this is 37.5. 72% is 0.72 times 80, which is 57.6. 5.5%, remember there's two numbers that go before, and I can't leave this off, so I just write it. Times 123, and that's 6.765. And then 203%, remember it's just two numbers, so it's 2.03 times 64. And so that is 129.92. Okay, so again, change it to a decimal and then multiply. All right, let's go up here and look at what percent change is. To find the percent change, you need to find out how much it changed and divide by the original amount. So the fraction it's change over original. Okay, and so if the new amount is bigger, then what happened is I went from a small number and I got bigger, so that is a percent increase. And if the new amount is less than, that means my price went down, so that is a percent decrease. So again, the first thing you do is you subtract to see how much the change is, and then you divide by the original, and that will give you the percent. Okay? So let's look at some examples down here. All right, for number 5, the first thing I need to do is I need to go ahead and subtract these two. And so I get $17.38, that's the change. And so it's $17.38 divided by my original. And my original was $72.39. So I'm going to plug this here, or $72.38. And so now I'm going to do $17.38 divided by $72.38, which gives me, oh, I lost my writer, which gives me 0.24. So that is 24%. And now I need to look. What happened? I started at 72 and I went to 55. That went down. So it's a 24% decrease. And that's your answer. So again, the first thing I did was I found the change and then I divided by my original. So let's do that over here. I find my change, 109 minus 75. It doesn't matter which way. I won't have negatives, so I just do the big number minus the small number. So my change is 34. So it's 34 over the original. And the original, again, is right here. And so I'm going to be dividing by 75 for this one. It's not the top number. It's not always about location. You have to actually read the problem. So now I'm going to do 34 divided by 75. And my calculator tells me it's 0.453. So I'm just going to keep that as 45%. And now I had my original. I was at 75 and I went to 109. That's an increase. So it's a 45% increase. Okay, so I'd like you to try 7 and 8 on your own, and when you think you have it, press play. Remember, the first thing to do is find the change, and then divide by the original amount. Okay, welcome back. Hopefully you went ahead and did it. So I'm going to find my change. So my change is 11.4, and I'm going to divide that by my original. And my original is 52. I'm going to divide that by 52. And so 11.4 divided by 52 is 0.219. I'm going to say that this 9 is going to change this to a 2. So this is a 22%. Now let's see. I had 52 and I went to 63. So that's an increase. So it's a 22% increase. All right, same thing over here. Let's change colors so they don't blend in. So the first thing I need to do is I need to find my difference, find how much change happened. So I'm going to subtract. And so I get 1,080, that's my change. And so it's 1,080 divided by my original. And my original was 1420. So I'm going to divide by my original 1420. And so I do 1,080 divided by 1420, and I get 0.7605. Okay, and again, I just look at these two numbers, and the zero is not going to change it. So it's 76%, and now I look here. I started at 1,400 and I went to 2,500, and so that is a 76% increase. Okay, so there's two different types of problems we did today. The first one was the of problems, and remember you had to change it to a decimal and then multiply. And the second one were percent change, where you had to find the change and divide it by what the original was.